A chant rises from the street, sharp, defiant, impossible to ignore. No kings. It echoes off buildings, cuts through conversations, and lingers in the air like a warning. But this isn't really about a king. It's about power, who holds it, who feels shut out of it, and what happens when people begin to believe the system no longer works for them. And once again, that tension keeps circling back to one name, Donald Trump. You hear it in debates, see it on protest signs, and feel it in the charged energy of crowds. For some, Trump represents strength and disruption, someone willing to challenge entrenched systems. For others, he represents something far more unsettling, a concentration of influence that feels distant from everyday reality. That divide is what makes this moment feel unstable, because history shows that when people start using language like "no kings," they're not just reacting to a person, they're reacting to a system they believe has stopped serving them. We've seen this kind of tension before, long before modern politics or social media amplified every voice. In France, in 1789, there was an actual king, but the deeper issue wasn't just monarchy, it was money, pressure, and imbalance. The country was buried under debt after years of war and excessive spending. The government needed revenue, but instead of fixing structural problems, it leaned heavily on the people least able to bear it. Taxes rose sharply, bread prices climbed, and wages failed to keep up. For ordinary citizens, life became a constant struggle just to keep pace with rising costs. Over time, frustration turned into something heavier, a shared sense that the system itself was unfair. Fast forward to today, and while the systems are different, the emotional undercurrent feels familiar. Modern economies are more complex and institutions are stronger, but people still feel pressure when costs rise faster than incomes, when opportunities seem uneven, and when decisions feel distant. In that environment, figures like Donald Trump become more than just political leaders, they become symbols. Supporters see him as a force pushing back against a broken system, while critics see him as a figure who could tilt power too far in one direction. Either way, the focus intensifies, and that intensity fuels division. Movements like "No Kings" don't appear out of nowhere. They grow slowly, fed by repeated conversations, shared frustrations, and the sense that something isn't balanced. At first, it's just disagreement, debates, arguments, different perspectives. But over time, those scattered voices begin to align. People start noticing the same patterns in their own lives: rising costs, limited opportunities, and a feeling that the system rewards some while squeezing others. When enough people feel that pressure at once, something shifts. The conversation moves from policies to the system itself. That's exactly what happened in France. What began as frustration over food prices and taxes didn't stay contained. Crowds formed, demands grew louder, and the focus expanded from specific grievances to the entire structure of power. The storming of the Bastille became a defining moment, not because it was strategically crucial, but because it symbolized resistance to authority that felt untouchable. It sent a clear message: the system could be challenged.